Portsmouth. As someone who grew up in the north, the concept of anywhere south of Nottingham, never mind London, sounded like somewhere to avoid at all costs. It's the land of £9 beers and people who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. However, without wanting to dox myself too hard, I've now moved to a place not too far from there and decided a trip to the coast was a great way to nurse my post-birthday hangover. Yes, happy birthday to me. Wanting to experience the true Portsmouth, I saw they had a museum dedicated to the Mary Rose, a ship that sank very close to Portsmouth 480 years ago and was raised in 1982. However, the price of entry was eye-watering £36. The manipulative buggers offered a pass for £51 that gives you 12 months of access to all museums, ships, exhibitions, and even harbour tours. So, pushing back the vomit I could feel bubbling in my stomach, I bought the Explorer's Pass and promised myself I'd be back again and again until I'd done it all. As Portsmouth is next to the sea, I assumed a nice seafood restaurant overlooking the harbour would be the perfect way to start this trip. Once getting off the train, however, it dawned on me that I'd somehow managed to book a restaurant in Southsea, technically part of Portsmouth, but far enough away that only an idiot like myself would book a restaurant there on a day trip. Anyway, as stubborn as I am, I didn't cancel, and instead forced myself on a bus that had the delightful odour of students and beachgoers, and then walked the rest of the way. Once I finally arrived at the far frontier of Portsmouth, we descended on the fantastic, if a little pricey, the Briny restaurant. The food and service were excellent. And no, that's not fish chips and mushy peas, it's salmon in a Thai green sauce, you uncultured swines. After feeling absolutely stuffed following the meal, I decided to go for a lovely fart walk back to the iconic 170-metre tall Spinnaker Tower. All I'm saying is that it looked a lot closer than it was, and with the sun blazing down on me, I was sweating like I'd been dunked in the harbour and glowing a very, that's going to be painful in the morning, shade of red. Luckily, a man saw me close to expiring and took pity on me, handing over a deliciously refreshing Lipton's iced tea peach, not an ad, and I arrived at Spinnaker Tower. And I'm afraid the outside of it is all you're going to see, because there's no way on earth I'm paying over £18 to getting in a lift to the top of a tall building. Honestly, I could be dying of thirst, and the last bar on earth could be perched on top of that tower, and I still wouldn't fork over that kind of money just to ride the lift. Next, we made our way to the Mary Rose Museum, only to be cheerfully informed that the doors were closing in 30 minutes, giving us just under an hour to race through what they themselves described as a recommended 2-hour visit. Lovely. And honestly, I could have lost an entire day in there. The history of the ship, the incredible story of how it was found and raised from the seabed, the artifacts, even a 4D cinema with CGI graphics that would rival a Wii. It's all completely fascinating. Sadly, the lighting inside was doing its best impression of a candlelit cave, and my shiny new camera, which cost more than I'd care to admit, decided it wasn't up for the challenge. So, enjoy this static single shot. Anyway, apart from booking a restaurant in the wrong part of town, getting sunburnt to a meaty medium well done, and arriving so late to the Mary Rose Museum that I had to scurry around like the rats on board did 480 years ago, it was a fantastic day. Would I go back? Absolutely. I'm a northerner, and I'll squeeze every penny out of that £51 ticket that I can.